Hey everybody, welcome back to Premium Picks. Today we are going to break down UFC Fight Night Rose Namajunas versus Tracy Cortez. I know it's kind of later in the week, but there's been a lot of rescheduled and changed fights. So you know what? If we did it a few days earlier, there was even another change as of yesterday. So it's almost better we waited this one out. Not the greatest card, but there are some spots we're going to find, some spots we're going to hit. And let's give you the full card betting breakdown. First fight of the night, we've got Evan Elder moving up to the 170-pound division versus Darius Flowers. Simply put, Darius Flowers is shit. He is first round or bust. If Darius Flowers doesn't knock Evan Elder out in the first round, he's not going to win the fight. He gassed as hard. He's not as well-rounded. He's not as good, period. Evan Elder should win the fight, but at minus 400, I don't like it. It literally was just added, so I don't even know what kind of shape these guys are in. I don't know what kind of camps they had. For me, I just won't be playing this fight, but Evan Elder is definitely my pick. What do you think?
Yeah, Evan Elder's the more well-rounded guy. Should be able to dictate the striking, should be able to dictate the distance. Flowers shown some ground game, but like you said, he gasses pretty hard. First rounder bust. All those are red flags, and minus 400 though. I don't know, man. Seems like a pass to me, but I do think the fight drags on a little bit uh farther on. I don't know about decision, but at least over 1.5. Probably the best spot is to go over 1.5.
All right. Moving on, 185-pound division. This is probably the fight I like the least on the card. We have Josh Fremd, 11-5, versus Andre Petroski. I believe they are coming in dead evens, minus 110, minus 110. On paper, it almost looks like a grappler versus grappler. I mean, Petroski does have a mixture of knockouts and submissions. Fremd, definitely the wrestler, the grinder. I mean, Petroski, physical attributes, looks like an absolute beast. Definitely can finish fights. He does have a lot of finishes in those wins, but he's an absolute quitter. Like I don't want to say chicken heart, but like when he loses, he gets finished and he does not look good at all. However, Josh Fremd, to me, he doesn't strike me as a finisher. He doesn't strike me as someone that's going to put Petroski's lights out or finish him. So if Petroski's losing to finishers, Fremd's not a finisher. I guess I'm going to lean Petroski. um, but these are just two guys that I don't like them. Like I don't like either guy. I don't trust either guy. I don't like quitters. I just these are guys I wouldn't want to put my money on. But I would lean Andre. What do you think?
I lean Andre too. I think he's stronger. I wouldn't say he's that, excuse me, I wouldn't say he's faster, because both these guys tend to slow down. Petroski more than Fremd, but like even when Petroski's slowed down, he can turn to. I've seen him turn to the wrestling in the third round, right? And Fremd's sporting a big old 31% takedown defense in the UFC, so I think Petroski can lean on the grappling when he tires out. Striking wise, I don't see anything special from either one of these guys. Fremd likes to hold and grind up against the side of the corner, side of the cage, like he did against Cedric Dumas there. But Petroski's a big dude. Like I don't think he's just gonna let him push him up against the cage like that. So if that doesn't happen, either striking, I think the striking's kind of washed on both sides. I think the gas tank's kind of washed on both sides. I think the grappling edges with Petroski, and for that, I lean to Petroski. I do actually think they sort of slow down as the fight. No one knocks each other unless there's a submission or something in the first round. I don't think nobody knocks each other out. So like, this could go longer and you could get plus money for a longer fight. You know what I mean? I don't know about decision again, but if it's a 1.5 round line, I think it's something you could sprinkle at this point. So I haven't looked at the odds, right? Because these things have changed so much lately. I know this one's been there for a while, but got a little lazy with the odds wise, but watch the tape.
All right, moving on to our first women's MMA fight of the evening, women's flyweight division. We have Luana Santos versus Maria Agapova. These odds are out of whack. Minus 400, plus 300 seems crazy to me. I do pick Santos to win the fight. Maria Agapova came into the UFC with a lot of hype. It was probably about 4 or 5 years ago. We're going back now. She came in as like a violent pressure fighter who finished fights. She was supposed to be a deadly striker, and she was actually snatched up quite a bit of submissions as well. And then she never showed it. She never really showed it in the UFC. In the last 4 years, she's won one fight. Uh, I don't see it with Agapova. Now, I don't think Luana Santos is deserving of minus 400 because I don't think she's looked great either. Obviously, she had the one really good win against Miller there, Killer Miller, which I don't know if she knocked her out the first round or something. I don't know. It was pretty quick. But other than that performance, nothing says like spectacular. She doesn't look like she's going to shine in any area. She doesn't look like she's going to be a future champion or any big high ceiling for her. But I think she can dictate where the fight goes. I think even though Agapova might be the better striker by fair margin, I think Santos will still be able to kind of bully her way in and get it to the ground. Whatever she has to do, just kind of grind her way to victory. But at minus 400, I wouldn't be betting it. But I think Santos wins the fight, not betting it. And I'm also not going to be playing Agapova plus 300 as well, just for the simple fact she's only won one fight in 4 years, hasn't been active at all. Never shown really anything in the UFC. So for me, it's a pass. Santos is going to win, in my opinion. Not playable for me. What do you think?
Agapova lost to Shayna Dobson. That's pretty much where this fight comes. No, in all reality, like she has a problem with the takedown defense. She has a problem with her gas tank. After the first round, she's pretty much a first rounder bust. I do think Luana Santos is tougher than her. I do think she has a better ground game. I do think she has better wrestling as well. Striking, whatever. Agapova's all right, but if she doesn't get you with that one power shot, then what does she really have? It's not very good technique, and she's good to snatch up. So her submissions come when she like knocks you down or hurts you, and then she's really quick to snatch up a neck, right? I think she's just about gonna get grounded here. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what's gonna happen, and I think the skill sets are so far apart that the minus 400 could be worth it. But I don't see any way that Agapova can pull this off. So yeah, I side with Santos, even though the odds kind of shit.
All right. Moving on, we have got Montel Jackson versus Damon Blackshear in the bantamweight division. Montel Jackson coming in at minus 138, Damon Blackshear plus 110. I think the odds are probably pretty accurate. I think they're both very live to win this fight. I mean, I think Montel Jackson is the better striker, and on paper, he should have the wrestling to not get grapple fucked. However, Damon Blackshear is good at grinding his way to victory, and if Montel Jackson gasses in the least, Damon Blackshear will win that second and third round and take this fight over later. I think this fight. I don't think Montel's going to knock Damon Blackshear out, and I don't think Damon Blackshear is going to be able to take him down early and submit him. I actually like the fight to go the distance at minus 180, and it covers both sides because I think we have a close decision here that could go either way. I hate betting, oh, it's going to go the decision. Like, obviously, I'd love to see a finish, but I think this is a close fight. I think it's a very close fight. I think Montel Jackson wins the first round, and I think Damon Blackshear is live to take over later and grind his way to a smothering victory. And I can see that happening. But I think fight to go the distance covers both sides would be my pick for this fight. What do you think?
I like Montel here. I think he's got more fights under his belt. They moved him up so slowly though. That's my issue with him. They haven't really given like here's Damon Blackshear, who's going to be probably a good little test for him here, especially with the wrestling. You know, Blackshear's really good at getting guys down and stuff like that. Montel though has hidden power. He has good range, and I think he's the rangier guy here. He also has a ground game as well, so don't forget about him. He likes to take guys down as well too. So, uh, give me Montel as the more well-rounded, more technical striker with the better range. Should be able to keep him outside for the most part of this beginning of this fight. Depending on, I haven't seen him gas, like death gas out. He's slowed down. He's a bigger guy for the weight division, right? So I'm going to go Montel. Odds are close. It's pretty much 50-50.
Do you think it goes a distance as well or no?
I do think it goes past two. I can't, like, I can see a quit. I finished the Mon too. Kind of slows down in the third round. So it's if either of them don't slow down, if they fight at the same, if this is a fought a range battle, then I think that it goes the distance, right? But if this somehow gets on the ground and it becomes a grapple fest, then I don't know. Then that's a tough one. But if it stays on the feet for a majority of this fight, then yeah, for sure, I agree with you.
All right, moving on to the women's flyweight division. This is probably one of the more interesting fights on the card. We have newcomer Fatima Kline coming in at -110 against the grizzled veteran Jasmine Jasudavicius at -110. Jasmine, obviously a very decorated wrestler, very hittable. She's tall. She looks big for the weight class. Doesn't necessarily use her size the greatest. She's very hittable. And Fatima is also actually known as a grappler. Now she is moving up in weight, so there's some concerns that she's undersized here. But I don't think Jasmine's going to want to bully her with wrestling, to be honest. I mean, Fatima is a beast on the ground. I don't think Jasmine's going to want to play in her guard, take her down and be on top of her the whole fight, because I don't know if she can actually hold her down, and she might risk getting swept or putting herself in danger. I think Jasmine is going to look to use her wrestling to keep it standing for the most part and secure a takedown late in a round to try to cement the points. I think this goes the distance. I think the lines make sense. It's very even. I think Fatima is the more dangerous fighter. I think she is the more skilled, more upside. I mean, she's so young that there's more she can do in her career here. This is a big moment, short notice. She is the smaller girl. I'm a huge Jasmine fan. She's from Niagara Falls, 1 hour from me. So I always root for Jasmine. I just don't love her in this matchup. If there was a dog on either side, like a sizable dog, this fight would be dog or pass. At dead evens, I'm not sure I want to play it, but I think Fatima Kline is very live to play a debut spoiler here. Or I don't know. I could see Fatima pulling this off. Jasmine needs to grind it out to win. I don't love betting on someone to grind for 3 rounds. I think Fatima can win this fight. What do you think?
The red flags are up a division, short notice, and first fight in the UFC. So I'm gonna go vet. I'm gonna go with the grizzled vet here because for those reasons, right? So many times you see the hype trains come up, and Fatima Kline. I mean, until I did the research for this card, I didn't really see her on the radar, or I haven't even seen her before in any like LFA or anything like that. Maybe I'm looking wrong. I don't know. I never saw her. So this is the first time I saw her, and she looks like you said, good grappler, blah blah blah. I've seen her with the jits and all that, but Jasmine's top pressure, I think, can actually counteract that in spurts, right? You know what I mean? I think she can top pressure her for a minute or two here, let her back up. The striking is pretty even on like I know Jasmine, you said sloppy striker, gets hit, all that. Fatima's not the greatest either on the feet either. They're pretty even, if you ask me. But yeah, for the newcomer, the short notice and up a weight class, I'm gonna side with the grizzled vet.
I hope you're right. I know, Jasmine, you're probably not watching, but I love you. I'm rooting for you. I think Fatima I don't know, might be the more dangerous fighter maybe.
Yeah, I can't believe in a hype train until I see the hype train.
Hey, I like it. I like it. All right, moving on. Back to the men's flyweight division. We've got Joshua Van coming in at -220 versus Charles Johnson +180. I think these odds are wide. I think this is a very close fight. I mean, Joshua Van's looked great, great record. Actually has a lot of finishes as well. But Charles Johnson's really come into his own lately. And when does Charles Johnson lose? He loses when you take him down and you grind him out. I mean, obviously Muhammad Makayev did it, and I think it was Cody Durden or something. Well, somebody else kind of got those takedowns and grinded him out. I haven't really seen him lose a straight up striking battle, and that's kind of what I think this fight is. On top of that, Charles Johnson, I mean, he was set to be an Olympic track star. This guy has cardio for days. He's never gassed. He's got an iron chin. He's never been knocked out. He's never gassed. So what does that mean? I mean, to me, that means this is going the distance. This is a 3-round decision, sorry. And I think it's close. And for that reason, I mean, at 220 to plus 180, like I almost want to choose the dog. I mean, I absolutely can see Joshua Van winning this decision. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Charles Johnson's definitely going to win, but I think it's a close fight. I think it's much closer than the odds suggest. And I do think there is value on taking a stab at Charles Johnson. Either way, it's not a parlay piece, but I think this is a very close fight. If you wanted like a for sure play, I think it goes the distance. I think you got too good of cardio, too good of a chin. I think it's going the distance. What do you think?
I think the distance is the parlay piece, to be honest with you. So I like Van still. I think you're right. I think it's a close decision. I just think he's got a little bit more pop in his strikes, a little bit better technique. Charles is a good fighter, but he seems to slow down, and he doesn't do enough at some points. He watches, and he just
He
doesn't
actually
do enough.
starts slow. It's not so much slows down. He always gives up the first round. Always.
Yeah, but like even Van showed a propensity to even force a takedown or two in his fights as well. So I know Charles is really good at the get-ups, but it's more about the visual to the judges, right? And honestly, a Charles win, I don't know what that does for the division. I'd like to see what Van can really do. I think this is a good test for him. I think he's I think he's the better fighter. I wouldn't say they're pretty damn close, but he does things better than Charles. And Charles doesn't give out a good visual when he's fighting, right? So well, I'm leaning with Joshua Van. Odds are wide, but I like him still.
Yeah, no, great fighter. I just think it's going to the distance. Like when you know it's going the distance, that gets a little shaky, right?
Yeah, no.
All right, moving on to the main card. If you haven't already, please like, please subscribe. We do appreciate it. First fight of the main card, men's middleweight division. We've got Abdul Razak Alhassan versus Cody Brundage. Abdul coming in at minus 170, Cody Brundage plus 140. Cody Brundage should not be able to wrestle fuck him here. Abdul actually is a judo practitioner, although you don't really see it. You don't really see him go for the takedowns or anything like that. He should be able to stuff the wrestling. And I think, I mean, even though he's up there in age and sometimes he's kind of low volume and he's had a couple bad performances, I still think he does have the power to be able to knock Cody Brundage out if he lets his hands go. I hate betting on low volume older guys, so that definitely does scare me a little bit. But I think if he lets his hands fly, he can knock Cody Brundage out. That will be the pick. It will not be a parlay piece. But give me Abdul by knockout. When Brundage loses, it's usually by finish. What side are you on?
Brundage. I think Brundage. You know what? As dumb as his IQ is and as stupid as it is, he always goes for some sort of ground kind of thing. He always tries to take someone down and beat him up. Like, and he does have power. He has some distinct power in his hands, and he is a really fucking good wrestler. Let's be honest here. Now, Alhassan got taken down 3 times by Pfeiffer, who is a very good wrestler. He got taken down 5 times by D1 Buckley. He got taken down 8 times by Malkoon. So, like, I know he's got a judo background, but like, fuck, man, I think he gets taken down here. I really do. Brundage is actually a good takedown artist. It's his IQ that comes into problems here, but he doesn't have to worry about Adolfo Vieira grabbing a fucking taking his back when he comes, or like grabbing a guillotine and trying to pull guard on Adolfo Vieira. Like that move might work here. Like it might. I'm not saying it is. I said it might, and it has. So that sort of IQ mistakes might not be an issue here. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Brundage. I can't. Fucking Alhassan has just fucked me so many times that I won't let it happen again. And for a guy that has the wrestling edge, I'll take the odds here. I'm taking the plus money. I'm gonna go with Brundage.
I like it. I mean, I'll be happy if he wins. I don't like Abdul by any means.
No.
All right, moving on. Men's featherweight division. We've got Julian Erosa versus Christian Rodriguez. Erosa coming in at plus 180. Rodriguez minus 220. I think these odds tightened a little bit, to be honest, because I think Rodriguez was a bigger favorite originally.
It's 250.
And I think that has to do with Erosa. For all his flaws, he does put in good performances here and there, and he does finish when he wins. I mean, he uses those long limbs and uses his leverage. He has good chokes. I mean, Erosa's always had the one thing, the durability issues. If you can knock him out, he can be knocked out. Is Christian Rodriguez a huge knockout puncher? Probably not. Um, but Rodriguez is incredibly tough. So, I mean, is Erosa going to be able to snatch another submission out of nowhere? I don't think so, but I think the odds are probably pretty accurate. Like when they were super wide, I wouldn't blame anyone for that Erosa shot. At plus 180, it's not enough for me to bet Julian Erosa. If he was way higher, maybe. At these odds, don't like it. Um, and I don't love Rodriguez. I mean, he's best known for being tough, for losing and then winning. Like, I don't like betting on guys that just win on toughness either. I think Rodriguez wins the fight. I don't like this fight to bet on. What do you think?
Don't let that last fight cloud anyone's judgment. He made a fight that he got his ass kicked in the first round. Very close. He won a split decision. You can think he didn't win the decision. I thought it was gonna go the other way. But yeah, but like he made a fight close that he probably had no business winning. All right. He beat Raul Rosas Jr. clean cut. So, Christian Rodriguez, he fought Jonathan Pierce up a weight class on short notice, super fucking tough, right? And he took the last round off of Jonathan Pierce. And that was his debut. Let's not forget that as well. So this guy is, like you said, tough as nails. And when the odds came out, I was like, oh, maybe it is a little bit wide. But I think it's a little bit biased of us thinking, oh, he's keeping these fights close and blah, blah, blah. Yo, Isaac Dalgarian's a good fighter. Jonathan Pierce is a good fighter. Julian Erosa is an okay fighter on certain days. I'm not saying he's bad. No, he's paid, but he's okay. But it's like Julian Erosa snatches up victories when they're like Sean Woodson loses first two rounds, gets there's no dominating victories from Julian Erosa. Is Christian Rodriguez going to fall into that trap? I don't think so. Like you said, he's durable as hell. Keeps coming the whole fight. If anything, he's going to drop the first round, right? But I also think he has the wrestling edge here, Rodriguez. I also think he might not have the submission edge, but he does have the grappling edge. And when he's in top control, that's when Julian Erosa doesn't do so well when he's on the bottom, right? So, yeah, give me Rodriguez. He stopped so many hype trains. I don't feel like Julian Erosa is another hype train. It's probably the easiest fight he's had in two or three fights. So, like, let's be honest, man. So, yeah, this is easy. This fight's easier than Dalgarian. This fight's easier than Rojas, and this fight's easier than Pierce. So, in my eyes.
Yeah, no need to overthink it the way you break it down like that.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the welterweight division. We got Gabriel Bonfim coming in at minus 334 versus Ange Loosa plus 250. Man, I keep saying the same shit, but the odds are too wide for me. Bonfim coming off a terrible look in his last fight where he gassed out completely versus a unit of a guy in Ange Loosa. Now, Ange Loosa is not the skilled fighter that Bonfim is. Bonfim is twice as skilled, but man, gassers are just different, man. I don't know. Yes, Bonfim should run away with this. Is Ange Loosa somebody who gets finished? Not really. So I know everybody who's on the Bonfim is all taking him by like choke or by finish. But again, does Ange Loosa get finished? I don't know. I got to see Bonfim rebound before I can bet him at minus 334. What are you thinking here?
This fight's card's in Denver, right?
Elevation.
Takedown defense on Ange Loosa is 90%. Is he just gonna get fall over? I don't know. And if this gets extended on the feet, and I don't think Bonfim's striking is like right home about kind of striking. I also, it might be. He's young, right? But this gets elongated past that first round, and he can't put out Ange Loosa. And he tires. And I've seen that Ange Loosa went for takedowns last fight. Yeah, he's not a takedown guy, but it's the other guy tires. Like, I don't know, man. This is a recipe for disaster for Gasser in Denver. And oh my God, I'm not betting Gabriel Bonfim here. Right? And this is for Gasser reasons and Gasser reasons only. Plus 250 on Ange Loosa. I probably sprinkle just based on Denver elevation, the way this guy death gassed last time. Because absolutely, I know it was Nicholas Dalby, but Ange Loosa is not a pussy. And he's not a guy that's just gonna roll over, right? So honestly, he might lose the first round, but if he can get to that second round, I don't know. Maybe a live bet is in order. He might get better than 250. But yeah, I mean, sprinkle on Loosa, man. It might be a losing bet here, folks. This might be my one or two or whatever, but
Yeah,
like
it's not a parlay piece.
I can't bet on the Gasser in Denver. It makes no sense. Anyways, that's enough for me on that one. It's pretty cut and dry. No.
Yeah, after his last fight, I don't know how it's possible to be minus 334.
In Denver. In Denver.
Yep.
Anyway.
All right, moving on to the featured fight. This should be a very fun one. We've got fan favorite Drew Dober taking on John Silva on extremely short notice. Both coming in at exact dead evens, minus 110, minus 110. Huge Drew Dober fan over here. Love the guy. I think he always puts on exciting fights. With that said, as much as I like him, he is very hittable. He's been rocked many times. That chin is starting to crack. I picked Frivola to beat him. I'm picking John Silva for the knockout here, plus 187. I don't see how this goes the distance because, Drew Dober can be grounded fairly easily. And he's decent enough at defending that, so that's when his fights get extended. But in this fight against a striker, I think somebody's getting put out, and I'll be happy as hell to lose this bet. If Drew Dober wins by knockout, I'll be happy as hell. But I think John Silva is going to knock him out. Give me John Silva plus 187 knockout. What do you think?
I'm on the Drew Dober side just because John Silva's week's notice, up a weight class. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if the power is going to translate up. You know what I mean? Like, so Dober's been there, done that, and he looked pretty good against Ricky Glenn. And but I know that's a shell of Ricky Glenn. Let's be honest here. John Silva, like I liked him. What I saw in his last fight, he looked good, and I picked him. But I think he came forward with too much disregard for his opponent the last time. Maybe he just didn't have anything like for that guy didn't he didn't have anything for him. Who was it again? Charles Jourdain. Jourdain took him down and stuff, but like he didn't have any regard for Jourdain's punching power at all. And he just kept moving forward like a robot. And he got into range and eventually finished him. And it was really cool. But like you can't approach a Drew Dober fight like that. And yeah, I think Dober I think this is a winnable fight for Dober. Again, hype train short notice up a division. I don't like it. Not a big piece of my night. Minus 110 means I can play a single on it and be happy.
All right, that takes us to our co-main event, welterweight division. We got Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Muslim Salikhov. The odds are Santiago minus 200, Salikhov plus 170. This is the battle of the old guys. Neither guy has any durability left, in my opinion. I know the whole world is on Ponzinibbio. I get it. I've seen Salikhov gas. His gas tank is terrible. His volume after the first round is usually horrendous. But I can't help but think that he can still catch Santiago. Like, Ponzi is so chinny. Every time you hit this guy, he is on skates. Like, he is on Bambi legs. I think this fight does not go the distance. I think one of them is getting knocked out because neither of them have any durability at all. Fight to go the distance, no, minus 150. That's my play. One of them is getting put out because neither has any durability. So don't even choose a side. Doesn't go the distance, minus 150. I feel very good about it. Even if they both gas, I still just think the durability is not there for either of them. And just to play devil's advocate or whatever, or the other side, the crazy call is going to be Salikhov to catch Ponzi, knockout plus 375. Now, I could absolutely see Ponzi knocking him out too. So the bigger play is not to go the distance, but I might take a tiny stab on Ponzi getting knocked out because I think he has no chin at all. What do you think?
You might. They're both losing durability, and I think Salikhov being 40 years old has actually lost more, to be honest with you. These finishes that Ponzinibbio are getting, the one against Holland was in the third round. and he was in that fight, but he wasn't in that fight, but he was in that fight. What would Salikhov do against Holland? I don't know if it'll make it the third round. Um, he beat Miguel by he lost to Jeff Neal and Michel Pereira by split decision, which means he won a round off those guys, and he beat Alex Morono in the third round. So, I mean, durability is probably the key here, and you're right, being in elevation, and who has the better durability out of the two? I think Ponzinibbio has the better durability out of the two. And that's where my pick is going to come. I think Salikhov won't wrestle because he doesn't want to gas himself out. I think Ponzinibbio has the better durability, and the farther this fight goes, he probably finishes him, like you said. But I'm on the Ponzi side, and for those reasons, and those reasons only.
Yeah, I can see Muscle getting knocked out one punch. Absolutely. I don't think Santiago cracks the way Randy Brown does. Even though I'm not a Randy Brown fan, I just assume that quicker, fast twitch athlete probably hits harder than Santiago. I'm assuming.
100%.
But either way, I think somebody's getting knocked out, and I like it not to finish.
Yeah.
Moving on to the main event, we've got Thug Rose Namajunas coming in at minus 225 versus fan favorite because of her looks, Tracy Cortez, plus 187. I'm rooting for Tracy Cortez, so I can see that victory dance, but is she going to do it? I don't know. I'll feel a lot more confident after I see the Jasmine fight, to be honest, because Tracy obviously outstruck Jasmine and was fine with the wrestling for the most part. So I got to kind of see how Jazz looks earlier in the card until I feel confident here. Can Tracy Cortez potentially grind Rose? Maybe. There's a world where she can get some takedowns and some control time for sure. But over 5 rounds, have we seen Rose grapple fucked before? I don't know. She froze against Carla Esparza. It wasn't really a grapple fuck. Jessica Andrade definitely slammed her. And even in the rematch that Thug won, even that, she got grounded a few times. So there is a world Tracy Cortez scores some takedowns for sure. I just don't know if she'll be able to hold her down for 5 rounds. And then as far as the striking goes, you have to think Rose is the better striker. But Rose looked like shit against Amanda Ribas. Like, I thought that fight was razor close and it could have went either way. I know everyone else goes, no, it wasn't that close or whatever, but I don't think Amanda Ribas is a great striker, and I thought it was pretty damn close. Like, I don't think Rose looked great. So this fight, I think maybe it is a pretty close fight. I don't know. I lean Rose due to the fact I don't think she'll be grapple fucked, and I think she's a better striker. But I am absolutely rooting for Tracy Cortez. I don't like Thug Rose. I'm rooting for Tracy. What do you think?
I think I am going to pull the trigger on the underdog here because Rose, in quite all honesty, she hasn't looked good in the last 5 fights. The rematch with Zhang Wei Li, she outstruck her 86 to 83 and got taken down 5 times. I thought she lost that fight. The rematch to Zhang Wei Li. Then she lost that fight to Carla Esparza. It's a close fight. She got taken down twice, outstruck her 37-30. That argument
37-30 in 5 rounds.
37-30 and yeah, no. But like
Oh my God.
yeah. But anyways, I mean, there was an argument that she won that one, but there was an argument that Carla won. These fights are just too close. When she lost to Manon Fiorot, it was a close fight too. She outstruck her 60 to 58. Could have gone either way. So this fight can go either way at plus 200, 200, whatever you're going to get between your books, plus 200, 240 on the Cortez side. This fight can go either way. I what you said about the last fight is completely true. She outstruck her 93 to 83 and got taken out 4 times. I thought Ribas won the fight. I had a bet on Rose. I was scared shitless, and Rose won the fight. So what's the theme here? Aside from the Zhang Wei Li head kick knockout in round 1, every single one of these fights are fucking close. So that's where I go. Tracy Cortez holds the wrestling edge here. Rose possibly holds the striking edge, like you said, but like you said again, maybe not. Tracy looked a lot more polished than usual. She didn't really push the ground game too much against Jasmine, but that's a ground fighter versus a ground fighter. I know Rose has got some good jits and whatever, but she's been taken control of on top before by fighters that had good top games. And this is another one. So like I can see Rose winning too because the judges like Rose. But because I can also see Cortez winning too. And for the odds, yeah, I'm betting Cortez plus two. What is my book giving me here?
I got plus 187 on Bet
Plus
365.
187. I can get up to plus 200 and something. I like it, man. It's too much, man. Rose, 5 close fights in a row. I just broke it down for you. Like every single one of those were 50 fucking 50. So, are you a betting man, or you just want to go with this minus 200 underdog? Like, I also do think this fight does go the distance, to be honest with you, too. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, Tracy's got a hell of a chin and is more of a grinder. I don't see her beating up Rose. Rose would have to catch her and like knock her out. But like fuck, man. It's been so long to see that happen with Rose. So yeah, I think this is just gonna be some slow, drawn out wrestling slash, you know, they both don't throw a lot of volume either. Rose, everyone's like, oh, Rose, Rose, Rose doesn't throw volume either. She's
Yeah.
very slow. Not slow as in her strikes, just slow as in her pace. So anyway, that's my take.
Yeah. I agree. All the overs are live. I agree. It probably goes to decision. I think there's a lot of a lot of possible decisions on this card. Uh, and I agree. Tracy Cortez can win the fight. I'm rooting for her to win the fight. I think I'm going to wait until after the Jasmine fight to actually place a bet on it. I think if Jasmine's getting lit up on the feet by Fatima, then it's not going to look so good for Tracy's win over her. But if her striking looks good, then it's like, all right, maybe Tracy, you know what I mean? I got to see how Jasmine looks first, and then I'll pull the trigger. I think this is going to be a lot of last minute live bets for me this card.
You do.
And with the last weekend off and not really betting on much, I'm ready to go. I don't love anything particularly here, but I don't care. I'm ready to bet. The bets are going to be flying, and may everybody hit their picks. All right, guys, as always, drop us a comment. Drop who you like. Drop your favorite prop, your favorite underdog, whatever you like, drop it. Let's hear it. We'll get back to you. And let's all have a good Saturday night. Have a good one, guys.
How do I stop this? There we go.